there. You're back.
I'm Honey.
I'm Fannie.
And we're here to do some early childhood share and tell.
Oh, yeah.
Show and tell. Show and tell. Share and tell.
Share and tell.
Either way.
Show and share.
Mm-hmm. What are you drinking? Coffee? You got coffee?
I have already had 2 cups of coffee. So this is Emergency.
Oh.
It gets the vitamin C, but it also has the B vitamin, so it does give you like a little boost of natural energy.
Oh, nice.
Like in particular during quarantine life, I just drink like an entire pot of coffee every day, and I had to cut that off. So I switched to Emergency today. What are you drinking in your mug?
Should I really tell you, or should we just pretend it's coffee?
Oh. Well,
you'll never know. I'm just not sure.
I mean, it looks dark.
You can see it?
Probably wine. I bet it's wine.
Okay, are you ready for my show and tell?
Yes!
Okay, one thing that I really love to have on hand with my preschool kids, and even in my own home, are field guides.
Brilliant.
Okay, so now, what?
What makes a good field guide?
So, what makes a good field guide? We have a couple different ones, and the other ones that I have that I really love are at preschool. But I'm going to tell you about this one specifically and how we use it at my house.
Okay.
But that can also translate to how you can use it in your program. So we have bird feeders hanging outside our windows at home, and my 5-year-old has taken Post-it notes and marked every single bird we have seen on our feeder in the book. And so there's, every single one that we have had, he has marked with a Post-it note.
I'm also shocked at how many birds you have the same over there in Minnesota as we do in Washington.
Oh, really?
Yeah, these are all birds we've seen at our window.
Really?
Yeah.
How weird. Yeah, we've seen him out our window.
Oh my.
And these are just ones we've seen out our window. Not just out, but just in our window. And I'm going to show you the one we saw today. Okay. And I have to tell you that every single one of my children has become old lady bird watchers because of this field guide. Like, they are so excited when a new bird shows up. So yesterday, 3 goldfinches showed up. There was 2 males and 1 female. And so we've learned how to tell the difference between males and females now too. And it was the most exciting, 4 minutes of our life yesterday, because the goldfinches hadn't been there yet this year. And so the kids saw him, was like, Mom, there's a yellow bird on the feeder. There's a yellow bird on the feeder. There's a yellow bird on the feeder. And so we all stop what we're doing and go look at the yellow bird on the feeder. It was goldfinches. But then today, I was talking on the phone with somebody. It was an important phone call, and I couldn't stop what I was saying and say, bird on the feeder! So I was frantically trying to point out the window, and one of my kids saw it. And we saw a male Baltimore Oriole.
Oh, that's so exciting.
We've never seen before. So he got a little tag today. We saw the male.
Special tag.
And my son was so excited. 5-year-old Knox was so excited that we saw this, that he ran over and gave me the biggest hug. It has brought so much joy.
Hurting. I love it.
Yeah, and it's not that we love birds and we're not huge bird fans, but it's this book. It's the guide that kids can easily look through and be like, whoa, I've seen this one, this one, this one. So field guides. We also have some that are laminated, and they're a brochure type, trifold, bifold, whatever, an accordion style thing that you can pull apart. And we have laminated ones so that we take them out into the woods with us. We put them in the backpack. We have a mushrooms one. We have scat. We have tracks. Berries. We have a berry book, and that one is super fun too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love
Do you guys have field guides?
Yeah. we use them all the time. We have like a chunk of field guides on the shelves, and we use them mostly with plants nowadays. I think that.
Oh yeah, we have plant ones too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The plants are an easy way to start because they don't move.
Yeah.
You know, and mushrooms too are similar. I don't know why we don't have a big mushroom guide.
I mean, that makes sense.
Hundreds of mushrooms last fall. So now, like, that'll be on my list.
I love that you just said they don't move, so it's easier. And I've never thought about it in that way. And you're right. They don't move, so it is easier.
We also have a hummingbird feeder on our playground. And I don't know if we've talked about this at all, but at home we can't have bird feeders because we have bears.
Oh, no, I did not know that.
They literally, like, I'll show it. Keep an eye out for my next show and tell. I'll show you the bird feeder that's just been mauled by bears. They just come and munch down like sunflower seeds at a baseball game.
Oh my goodness.
So all our feeders are at school. And we had bird seed in our sensory table for a long time because it was like the birds were just starting to come back. And then finally I got tired of that mess on the floor all the time because that's a big like I'm down for mess, but like after 2 months of sweeping pounds of birdseed, I was over it. So we just dumped it on the playground. We didn't even put it in a feeder. We just like spread it
out.
50 pounds of birdseed, just here you go. And
what happened?
It was like, it took about a week or so. And then we had so many birds. There would just be like 50 little juncos in a pod munching down in the afternoon and different things swooping, and they got so that they weren't scared of the kids. So you'd be like standing right here and there'd be a bird right there, just like, hey. It was awesome.
Did any of the bird seeds start to germinate?
I don't know. Maybe. Right now we just have kind of like dirt on the ground, so anything's better than nothing.
Right. Well, dirt's good too.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So that was my show and tell. What do you got today?
I don't know if you've noticed my change in venue.
I did.
Before on our last episode, I was hiding in our bedroom, the only place inaccessible to a toddler and quiet enough with a closed door to record. And I really wanted to share with you our art area. Because art is one of the things I miss the most in quarantine.
Oh.
And
why? Tell me why do you miss it? Like, what are you're not doing art or what?
Well, art with kids in particular is one of my favorite things in the world. Process art. We're talking true art with a capital A, not crafts. And like, I do get down on a good craft. Thinking about field guides, I like making my own field guides where we'll like take pictures of the birds and then you laminate them or like tape them up on a poster, that kind of thing.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Because the act of making it is also a thing.
Yeah.
Like once you can identify the bird, then if you make your own, like let's draw our own birds, then you like understand. Then that's like why art is important to me for a lot of other reasons. But
yes,
I'm missing it because I don't do it at home. Because it's frickin' messy.
Do you want to know what I bought? What I bought so that my kid could paint and not get messy at home?
What?
Temper paint sticks. I've never had those before, but we bought those because I was like, "Oh, this is a good activity that I don't have to clean up after."
Yeah, but like even with those, like, guy had me write his name on his back in temper paint stick. It cleans out really well. Pro tip.
Okay, so are you the same way at school then?
Not at all. And so at school, we have this dedicated space where, like, I have right now, you're sitting on the art table, and you can see there's like brown paper here. We have a big roll of paper that rolls over the entire table. So if you get it covered in glue, you let it dry and you roll. And then you like, next time you have a parent event, you cut out the letters of that crazy collage paper and it looks cool.
That is a brilliant idea.
Thanks, Grandpa Guy, for that one.
Yeah.
So like, not only do we have the dedicated table space for it, but like this place has all the things And it has all the systems set up so that when you're done painting, you know how to clean it up. Or when you're gluing, like everything has a place here. Whereas at home, it's like, well, I'm so glad you used a whole bottle of glue for those 500 eyeballs, but like, where am I supposed to put this? How are we supposed to eat lunch? But like, I can cook lunch and then have a place to put it. Like, it's just not a part of our day at home in the same way.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
It's okay. And I think a lot of times, like, people maybe potentially look at different maybe families or childcare centers on Pinterest or Instagram or homeschooling families that have those systems set up in place in their home. And we feel that like FOMO, the fear of missing out, like, and we want to do those things, but then we feel bad because we don't, because other people are. But just know that like, it's okay to let your kid explore everything at school.
Yes.
Preschool, daycare, childcare, and then come home and you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Because they get that experience at school.
Right? And the scale of doing it at home too. If you do it once every 3 months.
Right.
Or none. Like getting that at school is great. Right now kids aren't getting it at school though.
Right? So what do we do? That's
tricky. I think there are some things you can do that are not as messy, like watercolors or oil pastels are another really fun one that feels special. Like really what it comes down to with art for me is that it makes kids feel powerful because they're basically altering their world in a very tangible way and nobody else can tell them what's right or not, you know?
Love that.
And so figuring out how to get that power. Paint sticks are good. Markers, paper.
Yeah. Even just like pipe cleaners and beads.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more of like a activity and not necessarily an art form, but things like that, they're creative doing that as well, making bracelets out of pipe cleaners and pony beads.
Yeah. And another thing I want to mention about the school art experience is that the scale at which we can do things makes it make sense at school. So like I go through the effort of setting out the paints and setting out an invitation of like, hey, you all seem to be into wrapping with ribbon. So like I put out all this ribbon and maybe some glue and we'll see what happens. And, you know, we'll just keep getting out stuff as you need. But what will happen with that is that one kid will come over for 5 minutes and leave. And the next kid comes for 5 minutes and leaves. And so like the art is being used for 2 solid hours. And it makes the 20-minute cleanup worth it to me.
Yes.
What happens at home that tips the scale for me? Hey, Hank. What happens at home is you do all this, you set it up. Look, we got this thing. And then guy does it for 5 minutes. And the 20-minute mess cleanup is still there. And then I'm just resentful. Yeah. And that's not healthy for our relationship.
Yeah.
And that to me is like why we do all these big things at school and why I keep trying to tell families like we do it here so you don't have to.
Yes.
Not that the experience isn't enjoyable. Sometimes you can sit down and do watercolors with your kid for 2 hours and it's delightful and there isn't any mess. But there's just that like element of scale that can happen at school that you just don't get at home.
Yeah. Do you, so if a family is looking for a childcare or a preschool, where their child can have that freedom of creativity, that free process art, what are some things you would tell the parent to look for and questions that they ask when they go to tour those places?
I'm going to show you some things right now because they're physical.
Okay.
I think asking what their art experience is like will get you a quick answer. Like that, if you're on a tour and you just need a quick, like, or emailing or something, asking what is a child's art experience like at your school, you'll either get, oh, well, we have a 20 minutes every morning and the kids all do a craft together. Or you'll get the answer that you would get at my program or your program, which is kids have unlimited access to all of our art supplies and can do them whenever, minus meals. Like,
right.
There's also like common sense sanitary things, but kids can do art whenever they want, and they will get out whatever supply they want at any time.
Can I ask one more question before you show stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I am a preschool teacher currently, or a parent looking into a center that has more of the free process, play-based opportunities for kids, why is process over product what we want to see? Like, why is process higher on the totem than product?
So many reasons, Kristen. So the number one reason for me is that children are still experiencing the world and need to know the why and the how and the what before they can use that to then like make a thing that they want to look like a thing.
Right.
Craft is a skill that you can choose as a hobby to focus on at some point in your life. Some people choose the craft of cooking. Other people choose the craft of woodworking. Some people choose the craft of playing video games. Like, they're all valid and interesting and add to your self-worth. As a young child, you need to understand the physics of paint. And if you enjoy paint, before you can then use that paint as a means to translate your experience of the world into a physical form. Because, like, let's get art nerdy right now.
Okay.
John Dewey is one of my favorite philosophers ever. And one of his books is called Art as Experience. And the idea is that for humans, art is how you understand your world. And for some people, your art form is writing. And you write beautiful books, and you write field guides, or you draw field guides. Hand-drawn field guides are incredible to me. Kids, like, start reining this in a little bit. Kids need to understand what the tools are and experiment with those tools before they can then use them in a meaningful way. They need to understand the physics. They need to understand what brings them joy. And that is why process comes first.
Whoa! Preach it! Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Okay, if you're a parent looking for play in a preschool, you ask what their art experience is like, and then you ask where they keep their child's scissors.
Okay.
We'll tell you everything you need to know. They'll either not understand the first question, and then the second question will be, oh, we keep them up high on a shelf so the kids can't get to them. Or they'll say, they're right over here. And it'll be a spot where a kid can come get a pair of scissors whenever they need. So those to me are the two easy questions you can ask on a tour if art is important to you. You ready to see what you want to see?
I'm ready to see what I want to see, but I also was going to ask if anybody's ever cut their hair in your program.
Oh, yes.
Mine too.
That, like, on my parent orientation, I say every child cuts their hair at some point in their lives. We try to make sure it's not here, but it is going to happen eventually. Whether it's here or home, it will happen.
It does. However, it's never happened in my home.
Oh. It has in mine.
Oh, Hank just barked when I knocked on the table.
Has any kid ever cut your hair at school?
Yes. Yep. It's happened. One of my favorite things to do is to play hair salon, and when you're actually got a haircut. It's okay.
So you ready for a little tour? I'm going to get all the things out because some things are still kind of messy right now.
Yeah.
Also, there's always a weird drawer that's shoved full of crap that you wanted to get out of the way to do something else. That's just
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so behind you, you will see, this is our, like, I call it the bits and bobs. So in each drawer, can you see that? There's cans of weird stuff that you can pull out
and glue.
Yeah.
Bobs. It's bits and bobs. And we've got like bigger bits and bobs over here. You've got your pipe cleaners, puff balls, tissue paper, googly eyes. They never store well.
No, they don't.
Pour out, or they like don't fit. They just like static electricity and all sorts of garbage.
I know. Yes.
So other things you want to look for. Here we go. So here's my.
Look at you. This is organized.
I've been working. So here's where my kid scissors are. And I sort of have it organized by age level too. So like only the tall kids can really see in to get into these things that are more appropriate for tall kids. Whereas like you give a 2-year-old a roll of tape and it's fun the first time. And then I have like markers, colored pencils. The idea is that you can take everything off wherever you want it to go.
Oh yeah.
It ends up everywhere. And they have access to all the things. Glue stick.
Where did you get those fun crates?
Target.
Ooh.
I prefer the big fatty glue sticks. They don't dry out fast. Here is what else you want to look for in a program.
Okay.
Let me get in the shot here. So like this is just our wall. I call this art patina of play.
Yeah.
Like you can tell if an art space is used because if it's clean, they never use it. It doesn't matter how tight you run that cleaning ship. If they actually are doing art there, it does not stay clean.
We've got patina on our stuff too. Yeah. We unfortunately are in a church, so they can't paint on the wall, but we have put big sheets of paper or big pieces of cardboard, and then they can do that.
And every once in a while, we'll like spray and scrub it off so they can start over again.
Yeah.
But, like,
look at the handprints. That's the best.
Little handprints. There's a ring over there. And like the weird tape situation.
I love it.
We also rent, I'm not going to say like, paint on your walls, but like, if we ever leave, I'm going to cover that up and make it look nice.
Yeah.
Like that's just being respectful to a space. But at the same time, kids work here.
Yes.
So then here is sort of a shot of our art table, and we've got like the rolly paper, so the craft paper rolls on to one side.
Oh my gosh, I love
if you
that
look at the edges,
yes,
like it's just thick, and it's just thick, and like the drawers,
it's like a raised edge from underneath the paper.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. And like that's just what kid art is.
It is.
Yeah. So that's my art that I wanted to share. And like this scale with things labeled, kids know where things go, kids know what they need.
Yeah.
And so it's much less of a to-do every time we get art out. Like Guy will come with me to school and he'll immediately get painting because he knows where all the things are.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting better at putting them away too.
Do you have the paint fully accessible for the children, or do you put out certain pots of paint?
I have it very clearly visible so they can ask for whatever they want, but
I love that.
With 2.5-year-olds in here, like I wish that we had the funding to have open-ended paint all the time. That would be lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Number one. Number two, I've noticed that if, like, you need to have some limits on it sometimes in order to be creative. So, like, sometimes when we're, like, halfway through a bottle of paint, if they're really into the squeezing and the pouring and that's what they're into today, I'll just leave it out on the table and then they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But some days it's like they get stuck in that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And by removing it, it like adds a little bit of interesting challenge. Well, I've got all this paint now. What am I going to do with it?
Right.
And so like I go half and half between the pouring experience being the valuable experience and then the like removal and challenge. Same reason where like I won't immediately replace all the paint.
Yeah.
If we run out of paint, I'll like slowly, we'll be down to brown and orange.
The two worst colors.
The two worst colors. But then it's like they have to think more creatively. If I want to make this, what else can I use? And I like that challenge. I'm into that.
That's really neat. Do you know what I love to do?
What?
We love to take our art supplies outside, and that just reinvents it all again.
I have a milk crate just outside our window here, so that when you can't squeeze any more paint out, I just open the window and drop it outside. Because then the kids fill it with water and shake it up, and you get a whole another round of paint.
That is a brilliant idea.
Would I do
I'm going to use that.
No, that would take years to finish paint at home.
Okay, anything else you really want people to know about process art?
It's amazing. That's part of what you pay us for.
Yes.
Like when you think about sending your kid to childcare, us dealing with that mess and us having all these things and us setting up the environment and like knowing how to organize and keeping track of all the scissors, like that's what you pay us for. Don't you have to recreate that at home.
Exactly.
A home that bring you joy so that you can share that joy with your children.
Beautiful. Beautiful mess.
Beautiful mess.
Cheers. Well, Fannie.
Well, honey.
It's been fun. We'll see you next time for
that early childhood.
Early child.